This is a compassion in care update on what's been happening. I suppose, you know, there's been more developments with care homes and the CQC, and I'm doing a verbal report because, you know, to do written reports on the level of failure by the CQC, I can't keep up with all the failures, so I shall be documenting them obviously later on, but for now the latest is, well, to start at the beginning actually, these are lists of homes the CQC alleged to have closed in 2010, which is the beginning of the story. On that list is Avon Park Care Village Hillcrest in Bath, which featured in the last issue of Private Eye. It also features in our new report, CQC, an ongoing concern, which features Avon Park Care Village in great detail, and gives you the reference numbers to our reports that relate to them in Tales of the Uninspected. So please see the report for the full story on that. But since then, further developments, CQC have issued, well, hundreds of press statements to the media, and you'll see local papers all over the country have taken them at their word, as they should be able to, and said, oh, they have, you know, found these homes to be failing, etc., etc., including Hillcrest, which features in the local paper, saying that it's been rated as needing improvement. If people knew what had gone on in these homes before, for years beforehand, they wouldn't put their relatives in there if they'd been given all the information, which is why we fight so hard for the public to have the truth. You know, at the end of the day, it's CQC's job to give them accurate information. So, on the theme of accurate information, the first press release is dated 16th of June 2015 and says that Hillcrest inspection report has just been published, and that is correct. The next press release is dated 26th of October 2015, and it says Alexander Heights and Fountain Place in Avon Park Care Village have just had their reports published. Not true. Not only weren't they published then, there is no trace of them since. And I've been on their website today and I have tried everything. And I know you have to be determined to overcome CQC's website, but they do not exist on CQC's website. So we should be asking them for the missing reports yet again. And then the third press release is dated 21st of December 2015 and states that they published 2 further reports on Alexander Heights and Fountain Place in the last 7 days. Not true. They published them when the last issue of Private Eye went out, after Private Eye contacted their press office and said that this is not true either. Then they seem to have put together a very cobbled together version of the report, and that only went up in the last 4 weeks. So we'll start with, where should we start? Let's start with Alexander Heights. This report is an inspection that's dated July 2015, and it says it was published in December 2015. As I said, that's not true. 5 months anyway is an awful long time to wait for an inspection report, but it was only published because Private Eye rang their press office. It states that the home is good on is it safe, it needs improvement on it being effective, it says it's good in caring, it says it's responsive, it requires improvement, and it's well led, it says it's good. Okay, if you go to the bit that relates to is the service good, green dot for good, and it says, the staffing arrangements were not always adequate to meet people's needs during peak times. People knew the staffing arrangements in place. They said there were 2 staff on duty throughout the day. One person said, I feel there should be more staff. There is not enough staff to take me down to the garden as there won't be enough staff left in the home. Another person said, I feel there should be more staff. I could be here all day by myself. Not enough staff for them to sit and chat. Yesterday there were only 2 staff. We were told only 2 staff on duty are enough. Another person said agency staff were used to maintain staffing levels. They said they knew the agency staff coming on duty that day. Another person said, we need another member of staff. In the morning it's hectic and the call bells are ringing at the same time. That's not my idea of good, and I don't think it's anyone else's idea of good either. And it seems to me that the evidence is contradicting the rating, but it gets worse. Is the service caring? There are very good staff in this home, and it's the only reason that it stays it's walking on a knife edge all of the time. And it's not, I don't blame the staff, because they've been cut back, and I know for a fact that people have been asked to do the impossible in that care home. It says on page 8, there's a person-centred approach to care that was used to meet people's needs. It then says, on page 9, contradiction, care plans were not developed from assessments of needs or updated following the review of risk assessments. Care plans were not developed on how staff were to meet people's needs. Now, you can't meet people's needs and not know what the needs are. You can't contradict one area and then with evidence from the previous. This is something I see all the time. However, this is nothing compared to Fountain Place. Now, green spot means that it's good, orange spot means it needs improvement. The key thing here for me is on page 3, we ask the following 5 questions. Is the service safe? The service is not safe. That's the words of the inspector, and the evidence, confirms that. However, it's giving a good rating, even though the words say this service is not safe. It still manages to get a good rating. Either the inspector has subconsciously put what he actually thought for a change, even though he was going to give it a good rating, or there's one person giving the evidence and there's somebody else just giving the green spots out. And as far as I'm concerned, if these are homes that have been in the national media, these are homes that have been under the spotlight, and this is what's happening in these homes. So you can well imagine our concern about the other homes across the country, and the level of bad homes that have been hidden, had their reports archived, had the public misled. It's just amazing. I can't even list all of them, there's so many. But I do my best to keep up with the CQC, I can assure you, even though we have, like I say, 8,000 a year for all our work, and they have 83,000 for an inspection. Obviously we don't have the money for 5-star hotels, or we would be going down to this care home tomorrow. But CQC have the money for 5-star hotels. So to bring it back to the CQC and what they've been doing, their new mum test, well, we met that news with reservations. So I've got a new test for you, CQC, and you passed my test, and it's called the Dumb Test, because that's the only way I can describe it without using foul language. You have allowed people in these homes that have had nobody going into them except the window cleaner heard them calling out for help and went to their assistance. I can honestly say that I think we ought to put the window cleaner in charge of running the CQC, because he'd do a damn better job than what I've seen here. And angry, yes, I am angry, because the price that's paid are people that are left hour after hour after hour, hungry and thirsty and neglected and lonely in a place that's meant to be a care home. So yes, I am angry, and I will keep watching you, CQC, and I will keep exposing what you are, which is totally and completely useless and a waste of public money. That's my lot.